the rematch between Leo Santa Cruz, Abner Maras. I mean, this was just all action. Both of these guys throwing a number of punches. Keep in mind, the first time they fought, over 2,000 punches were thrown. This one, nearly 2,000. Here, you see Abner, when he got on the inside, he did some good work.
I mean, he's going to be, Abner Maris is going to be fast in there, but he's going to be too small in there. Tank Davis can fight at 135, but he can't go to 135 because Lomachenko's up there. They're not going to allow that. Mikey Garcia's up there right now, unless he's going to fight Errol Spence. But still, if he loses, people expect he will. I think he has a chance, but that's a whole nother video. He can still come back down to 135 and be champion, so he's still there. He'll likely drop his IBF title because he has to fight Richard Comey. He was given until August the 30th, if I'm correct, to get a deal done. But nonetheless, Lomachenko and Mikey Garcia at 135. So Tank Davis isn't going up there. He's current two-time champion, current WBA Super World champion. He shouldn't be Super World at 130 pounds, but nonetheless, he is former IBF champion. Tevin Former has that belt. Right now, being from Philly, I know I'm going to get a lot of heat. Tank Davis beats Tevin Former, in my opinion. I don't think that Tevin Former is going to have anything in regards to power to keep Tank Davis off of him. He's going to pressure him, walk him down. My personal opinion. Tank Davis, however, does have some shit with him, and Abner Maris is a big step up in the quality of a name. For example, remember, he fought Jesus Cuellar. Abner Maris beat Jesus Cuellar for that belt. This is Abner Maris he beat Cuellar, moved up. He beat Cuellar down at 126 pounds. So I'm thinking that the fight's going to happen either on the Mikey Garcia, Errol Spence undercard, or the Fury versus or the Wilder versus Fury card. I'm thinking that Showtime's going to have 3 cards, maybe 4. I'm thinking 3. In between November and December, and late October, November, and December. And what I'm thinking is, and Steven Espinoza even hinted at it on ESPN Plus, Dan Rayfield's show, is that they're going to try to stack up those 2 cards the best that they possibly can, and I think it's beneficial for Tank Davis versus Abner Maris to be on one of those cards. Also, I'm hearing Adrian Broner versus Sergey Limpianets. Charlo is going to probably end up on one of those cards and more. So, Mayweather and or Tank Davis has issues with Mayweather, and I can understand, man. Mayweather's just one of them weird type of dudes. Like I've always said, that Mayweather's the type of person that you don't never want to take nothing from. Because you take something from him, he the type of motherfucker to be like, if he get mad at you, he'd be like, you know what? I brought you that. Give me that back. Where'd you get those shit? Like that type of motherfucker, man. And, somebody like that is gormless. Anyway, moving on. A lot of people are going to say that, Tank Davis is going to destroy him and everything. And I get where y'all coming from, but it's a good fight on paper. I just think that Tank Davis is going to be too big for him and probably is going to stop him. But, I think that overall, Abner Maris can be the better boxer if he decides to box. And maybe this is Abner Maris cashing out. We're going to see, though. We're going to see. Obviously, we don't know anything else outside of this information right there. Abner Maris has fought at 128 before. I believe it was, Jose Ramirez. No. This was at the 135 limit because Ramirez weighed in at 131. Remember, former 122-pound champion, 118-pound champion. When he moved up to 122, though, he really started having some issues. I remember I thought Anselmo Marina was going to knock him out. I covered this on YouTube years ago. And, of course, we know what happened to him with Johnny Gonzalez. Went on the rebuilding path. Then fought Leo Santa Cruz in that big fight. This was on my birthday. I remember I covered it from a hotel on ESPN. And then pretty much, outside of Cuellar, who we talked about, Tank Davis fought. Was that Tank Davis' last fight or 2 fights ago? No, his last fight. It was earlier this year. I'm tripping. Oh, I remember why. Because I was still sick. That's why I barely remember. But I think I did cover it. I don't know if I covered it or not. If I did, it was probably a shit performance because I was real fucked up. But not really nothing there. I mean, you got Jose Pedraza. That's a solid name. He's fighting Ray Beltran for that WBO. You know, I was only counting Cuellar because he fought Abner Maris, but Cuellar had that long layoff. And a lot of people thought he was going to beat Abner Maris. So technically, this is Tank Davis fighting two smaller... Tank Davis is fighting two smaller fighters coming up. So if he fights Abner Maris is coming up from 126. His last opponent, Jesus Cuellar, was coming up from 126 after a long layoff. Where was Francisco? He was coming down. And Liam Walsh coming down. Interesting. I wonder, I think that the Abner Maris fight, though, was a bigger fight than, hardcore fans, would want, Tevin Farmer. I want the Tevin Farmer fight, but the Abner Maris fight brings in more money. Truth be told, I would rather see him versus Tevin Farmer than Abner Maris. It's much more interesting, but my understanding is Tevin Farmer had a chance to fight Tank Davis, and he turned it down because something along the lines of, don't quote me, he didn't want to feel like Mayweather was giving him something. But, he's a champion. It's going to be interesting to see what he does. And looking at the division, he's not going to have a mandatory. I mean, unless, Lee Selby's now ranked at 130 pounds. I guess he's officially moved up because you have to give notice. So he's at 130. I doubt we'll see Tevin Farmer versus Masayuki Ito. I doubt we'll see Gervonta Davis go the WBO route anyway. The WBO, that side belongs to Top Rank and Frank Warren and all that. You got Miguel Burchelt, but he's with Zanfer, and my understanding is they're very close to signing with ESPN Plus. So there's network shit right there. Alberto Machado, they need to order this fight because I don't know how Machado's been champion longer, but Gervonta Davis has been elevated to super champion after losing his previous belt on the scales, because when you're a super champion, it's supposed to mean that they're giving you extra time because you have mandatories because you are a unified champion. So there's so much wrong with that situation right there. And also looking at the 130-pound rankings, remember, when you're a champion, you have to fight somebody ranked in the top 15. So outside of Alberto Machado, looking at these names, you got Ryan Garcia out there, but that motherfucker right there irked me. I mean, it's something about him, with them fucking glamour shots he be taking on his Instagram. And yeah, he's got 1 million followers and all that shit, but with all the fucking faces and shit he be making, that should be pissing me off. But you got Yurkis Gamboa. They could pull him from the dirt, whoever he with. But nah, it's probably going to be Abner Maris. It's an easy in-house fight to make. And it's a fight where they can, pull, the black versus Mexican. It's the classic Heyman Mayweather Promotions formula. Classic. TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Please subscribe.